And welcome to Flightdeck, podcast dedicated to Montreal Alouettes football, presented by our good friends over at Royal Retros, where you don't need a time machine in order to get some sweet, sweet throwback merch. Head over to royalretros.com, use the code Flightdeck at checkout, and you will save 10% off your entire order. I'm Tim Capper. You can follow me on Extra Blue Sky at Repact. That's REPPACT.
What's the story, Morning Glory? I'm Cliffy D. You can also find me on X and on Blue Sky over at Cliffy D.
Happy post-Thanksgiving. Are you stuffed like a turkey?
Oh, I think I just finally got over the meat sweats. That deep fried turkey at the tailgate was on point, let me tell you. And shout out to Les Fans Qui Vivent, the tailgate group that puts on a tailgate spectacular. It seems like each and every week, but when it comes to the Thanksgiving Day Classic, these guys outdo themselves year in and year out. Deep fried turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, cranberry sauce, all the fixins. I mean, holy moly. I mean, we had people coming in, not just from Ottawa, as they normally do each and every year, but people coming from all around to savor this, and to be a part of the Thanksgiving Day Classic. I mean, they hear about it, they hear us talking about it, and just how big it is and how important it is and everything like that. And I guess until you experience it for yourself, you really don't get it. But then afterwards, like talking with a lot of these people, they're like, I get it now. Like this is amazing. Like this is next level as far as tailgate experience goes. This is next level. So again, if you didn't get a chance to check it out, folks, I feel sorry for you, because Claude, Frank, all those guys, they just do a phenomenal job. So hats off to them. And yeah, I think I'm just now getting over those meat sweats from Monday.
I was about to say, and something that we have not been able to talk about, and I think probably 4 or 5 years, is that we were, not only turkey, but we were also baking in the sun. Oh my! What a day it turned out to be! Not only because of the football that we saw, but where we were sitting, because we do our yearly upgrade, and the sun. It was supposed to be overcast for most of the day, but man, Mr. Sun wanted to pop out, man, and he was there for most of the day. It's like it's one of those days where it's like, oh, I forgot sunscreen. Meh, you know, none of
Yeah,
us expects to have to wear sunscreen on
not not in mid,
Monday.
not in mid-October, but I'll take it all day, every day. My word. Yeah, finally, for the first time in a long time, beautiful weather for a tailgate, for not just the tailgate, but for the football game itself. I mean, this has happened in the past, but I mean, as you said, like the past at least 5 years, if not more, it just feels like it's all. If you're lucky, it's overcast, but rain always seems to show up for Thanksgiving, and it sucks. And it's to the point where, like, we talk about the seat upgrade, and I keep saying, like, what? Maybe this is the year we shouldn't do it. Maybe we got to stop doing this. Seems like every time we do it, it freaking rains, and it sucks. Nobody wants to sit in the rain. I mean, we got the overhang in our regular seats, so like we're protected from the elements normally, but we upgrade for the privilege of being soaked in the rain. No, that's not fun. But this year, I don't know what it was. Maybe the football guys decided, okay, these guys have suffered long enough. Let's give them a nice, beautiful day to enjoy their turkey, enjoy their football, and have a great day. And that's exactly what it was. I mean, it was truly a fantastic day. I mean, we had food, football, friends, fun, family. I mean, wow. It was I think we have a lot to be thankful for this year, Tim. And this was just an amazing day. It really was an amazing day this past Monday.
It was. No, I agree with you. We will be speaking with, by the way, from TSN and Edmonton Sports Talk. We're talking to Dustin Nielson. But we have to give the accolades themselves, because we do have 2 announcements. Very rare that we start off a show with 2 announcements. But Cliff, I will let you go ahead and be the bearer of good news across the board.
Oh, absolutely. As you folks know, because we haven't been able to shut up about it, we came out with some pins. They were for sale, and we had said that all the proceeds from these pin sales were going to go towards this year's CFL Fans Fight Cancer initiative happening at Grey Cup. And a lot of people say, "Oh, that's nice." You talk about it, but are you actually going to do it? Are you really going to do it? Well, this past Monday, we sold out. I mean, everybody that showed up at the tailgate wanted pins. In fact, I got there early, and people already were hitting me up right away. Do you got the pins? You got the pins? You got the pins? I'm like, no, Tim's got the pins, but he's on his way. I was texting you furiously, like, dude, you got to get here. We got sales waiting to happen. Sure enough, the pins came. They were flying fast and furious. People were throwing money at us and e-transfers and everything. It was amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we had sold out our entire stock of these pins. It was a limited run, I'm not going to lie, but the fact that we sold out all of our pins is absolutely tremendous. And true to our word, and I actually just posted it on our socials, so you can see that it's legit. We are proud to have made a donation to Cancer Care Manitoba, the charity that will be receiving the proceeds of everything CFL Fans Fight Cancer happening, culminating at Grey Cup this year. We are proud to send Cancer Care Manitoba a sum of $350 towards the CFL Fights Cancer initiative. Again, from the bottom of our hearts, to each and every one of you that bought one of or two or more of these pins, we thank you. This is absolutely tremendous. We are so proud, so happy that we were able to do something like this. I mean, it's in the grand scheme of things, it may not seem like much, and certainly compared to other fundraising efforts, maybe it kind of pales a little bit. But as far as I'm concerned, every little bit helps, and this is a cause that's very important to Tim and I and to everybody that's involved in the CFL universe. So we're happy to have played even just a small part of that. And here's hoping that we can, once the Grey Cup event happens, the Saturday of Grey Cup, when it's all said and done, we are hoping to break 100,000 in donations, like in proceeds raised. And if we can be a small part of that, we are honored. We're humbled even to be able to do that. So once again, each and every one of you that bought one of these pins or more of these pins, we thank you.
And to that point, because of how successful and popular they were, and still to today, as we are taping, that people are still asking. We have heard the masses. We want to make sure that everybody in the CFL universe has the chance to get their hands on these and to give to a great initiative. We have already placed our second order of each of these pins, slightly different, because you have to. You got to make them slightly different every time you make them. So we will it'll be at same limited run, 25 of each. As I said, some slight differences, but stay tuned to all of our socials for when they will be available, because they will be available to everybody across the country and even in the U.S. We'll make sure that they are available to you. And as I said, as we were mentioning too, with us most likely being at Grey Cup, they will be available for purchase there too. So stay tuned, Owls fans. Stay tuned, CFL Nation. These will be available to you once they become available.
Yeah, so if you missed out, and it was incredible. I mean, what a good problem to have, right? Like at the tailgate, like people still coming up to us after we're sold out. You got any of those pins? You got those pins? Or am I too late? And I hate saying no. I hate saying I'm so sorry. We are sold out, and I can see the disappointment.
You gave up yours out of the goodness of your heart. You did, because it started. And most people don't know, this started on the Thursday prior to the game because you're at an event, and then it started at practice on Saturday.
That's right.
That the Owls had before the game, because they practiced late because leading up to the Thanksgiving Day Classic. That's when it started, and you not once but twice gave up your pins.
Listen, for a good cause, I was willing to make that sacrifice, but even then, it's like once they were gone, they were gone, and I just with that, just the demand and the disappointment that people had, like, oh man, I missed out. Like, I mean, this is why you got to come to the tailgate when we say we're there. we were there ready to go. But
Yeah.
fear not, folks. Like Tim said, the second order has been placed. As soon as we get them, we're going to let each and every one of you know about it. Let you know how you can get your hands on a set. And yeah, I mean, we're thrilled to be able to do this again. This was absolutely amazing. The turnout was phenomenal, way beyond my expectations, and
Same.
I'm pleasantly surprised with how well it turned out. And like the pins are beautiful. The feedback we've gotten from them has been absolutely amazing. So I'm very excited that we're able to do this again. And yeah, we can keep raising more money for the CFL Fans Fight Cancer Initiative. I'm all for it. I'm ready to, keep my sleeves rolled up and keep working at it. So, folks,
and if it allows us to collab again with Lou over at Pinforce, all the more better, because top notch company that we've been able to partner with, and I would do it again in a heartbeat, and we did.
That's just it. And again, it's all because of you, the Alouettes Nation, CFL Nation, all because of the demand, the love you showed, gave us the conviction to say yes. Let's do another run it back, and let's raise some more money for CFL Fans Fight Cancer. Let's get more pins out there. Folks, when we drop the word, buy them up, because we're doing it for you.
Exactly. As I mentioned before, we're going to speaking with Dustin Nielson of TSN very shortly. But we got to talk about this game, man. I mean, the Alouettes come into this game. They had beaten the Ottawa Red Blacks 9 straight times. The last couple of Thanksgivings, I mean, they've had a so-so record on Thanksgiving. And then the team surprises us too, Cliff, by telling us they're going to be wearing white after Labor Day. Did you know you're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day?
That's the rule.
Yeah,
I guess the Alouettes are all about breaking rules now. So,
coming off a tie for their second longest break during the regular season off of a bye, 17 days. But Owls do win by 20, 30-10. But I'll be honest with you, 17 days. It took him a little while to go. I still think it's hilarious to say that Davis Alexander in his post-game press conference was saying he thinks it's his worst game as a pro. You know what I mean? And considering they won by 20 and all of his stats. But the Owls do win this game. They keep their basically their playoffs lives in order to potentially win the East, that chance alive. They got to run the table and get some help in week 21. But this team, it wasn't as like last game, but the team looked good. Yeah, I said it wasn't perfect by any means, but this Alouettes team did look good, and as they seem to do over the last couple of years, Cliff, they will pull stuff out of the playbook, out of that special playbook that Coach Moss has, and they did it, and they did it again this time around too. But like I said, got the win, extended their streak with Ottawa to 10. Still in the thick of things for the East, but again, as I said, the team looked good, but like Davis Alexander, like Coach Moss said, there still is a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny to hear Davis think that this was his worst game as a professional, and that's a bit of a bold take from Davis, and I can understand how he feels about it, especially since he's basically missed half the season when you think about it, Tim. Sitting on the sidelines due to his injury. So of course he's raring to go, and he wants to showcase what he's able to do. And I mean, he did not play terrible football. Maybe was it his best football? Probably not. But he did what was needed to do to get the win, and to me, that's what counts. But I mean, if this kind of lights a fire under him, it's like, hey, I'm better than this. I know I can be better than this, and then he comes out his next game, playing even better. Then hey, I'm all for it. Whatever it takes to spark that fuse, that get get those juices flowing. Like if that's what's going to take, like for maybe we want a pissed off Davis Alexander. Maybe that's what we need to see a little bit more of, like just that killer instinct. Like the fact that he wants to win, he wants to keep going. Like he's 10-0 to start his CFL career, and that's just that in and of itself is incredible. And I don't give a flying F what anyone thinks. This is a long, stronger thing. It wasn't consecutive, blah, 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 blah. Like, I mean, no. 10-0 is 10-0, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're not giving Davis his flowers for that, then something is terribly wrong with you, because this kid really is something special. And he proved it time and time again. And even though he's very critical of his performance this past Monday, he did what was necessary to get the win. I mean, all three phases of the football game, they did what they needed to do to get the win. And don't give me this nonsense that, okay, well, Ottawa's eliminated from the playoffs. They got nothing to play for other than pride. And, maybe we start looking towards 2026. No, at the end of the day, you still have to play the games. Games are not played on paper. They're played on the field. And this team put together a very, very impressive win this past Monday.
This is like in a game where they held Gino Lewis and Hardy to one catch. Gino didn't get a target until the fourth. So him and Justin Hardy were basically their two biggest threats. Basically, got nothing. The defense just, again, I agree with you 100% that this team, all three phases, and it's funny. Didn't look like it was going to start off. Well, by the way, speaking of Davis in his post game, he looked pissed. He was still pissed. I don't know if it's because he got his helmet ripped off and he got the cut on his nose. That's another thing we got to talk about. But it all started basically with the Owls going 2-out, and the Red Blacks going 2-out, and then the special teams take over, and something that you and I seem to enjoy the most, especially on day one of training camp, is watching them do their kick block drills. And by God, it worked flawlessly. Because Marc-Antoine Duquois, he was there, blocked it perfectly, scooped it up, scoop and score for a touchdown. That put the Alouettes up, but was it 8-0 at that point, or was it? I'm trying to. Either way, yes. It was Owls were up.
Yeah, because Ottawa did concede a rouge earlier, so I mean, as part of the excitement of the first couple series. But if the tryptophan was starting to kick in from everybody having their Thanksgiving turkey, Marc-Antoine Duquois woke everybody the F up with that absolute monster block and then scoop and score. I mean, just incredible. I mean, we expect a lot out of Marc-Antoine Duquois, and thusly so. I mean, the guy, when he's motivated, when he's on his game, there's none better. He's second to none. And I've been a little critical this year of him. I feel like he's kind of taken his foot off the gas just a little bit. Yeah, we've both been critical. Okay, you're right. We've both been. But when you make a play like that happen, I mean, especially in a game that, I mean, I guess in a sense, it is a must-win for the Montreal Alouettes because, again, as you talked about, if they want to be first in the East, they got to run the table. They got to get the wins and hope for a little bit of help in Week 21. But it's an effort like that from Marc-Antoine Duquois that woke everybody up. That got everybody excited and everybody jacked. Like, okay, this is Alouettes football. This is what we came on a holiday Monday for. We wanted to see some excitement, and boom, there you go. That's excitement right there.
Not only did it get him, everybody get pumped, the team get pumped. It got the sellout crowd at Percival Molson Stadium up and hyped. Exactly. 23,035 showed up. First sellout of the year. They've been close at certain points this year, but to have a sellout, and even Coach Moss in his postgame said some postgame and his team speech, which is also online. Shout out to the crowd. A sellout in the sun during the Thanksgiving Day Classic, and as you're saying, it wasn't the start. Sorry, it was just a start of what Marc-Antoine Dequoy was going to the show that he was going to put on during that game.
Oh yeah, I mean, he came alive in the best possible ways. I mean, not just on special teams with that block, scoop, and score, but had a monster sack on Dustin Crum, just eliminated him. And then when Ottawa was finally able to score a touchdown, he basically, he basically denied it was a goal line stand for the Red Blacks trying to score, and they had to settle for a field goal. It was third down conversion. I'm sorry, turnover on downs. See how excited I am. Point is, Marc-Antoine Dequoy was on one this past Monday, folks. I mean, he just was sensational defensively on special teams. I mean, hell, I'm surprised they didn't put him in an offense, try to help him score points that way. I mean, he probably would have at that point if you'd let him, but man, I joke that he was playing like his hair was on fire, and nobody wants to see that because that's a beautiful flow he's got going. So, but
yeah,
my goodness. But we talk about this in 2023. It was towards the latter part of the season where Marc-Antoine Dequoy really stepped up, really became that defensive dynamo, and was racking up pick sixes and interceptions and just doing all sorts of amazing things en route to that Grey Cup victory. Could history be repeating itself? Could Marc-Antoine Dequoy just be coming alive at the right possible time, at the best possible time for this Alouettes team? Who's to say? But he certainly had himself one hell of a Thanksgiving holiday this past Monday.
That's true. And let's continue. I knew you usually give accolades and we talked about Davis already, but let's start off by giving the accolades to the defense themselves, Cliff. This is a team that held Ottawa to 10 points. It was by no fault of their own, but they only gave up a single point in the second half to the Ottawa Red Blacks, and that was on we can blame special teams because they gave up the same. Wait a minute, giving up a rouge? What's going on? I thought the rouge were going the way of the dodo.
I guess the Alouettes didn't get the memo, or they're just trying to stockpile them in case they decide to renege on these rule changes that are going to be happening in the next 2 years. I kind of hope not, because I like what they're going to be doing with the rouge, but you know what? Why not do it now and get it out of your system, I guess. But yeah,
exactly. Four sacks by the defense. Jeffrey Kenton-Arku, Najee Murray on a bullet. On a bullet.
I mean, Dustin Crum got
sack,
wrecked.
and then Tyrese Beverett with a sack. But man, let's go back to that Najee Murray sack, man.
Yes. Not only did he blow up Dustin Crum with that, but then he has the unmitigated gall to hit the Stephen Curry go to sleep Selly. Chef's kiss. Najee, you're wrong for that, but you're right. That's just well done. What else can we say? I mean, you don't need tryptophan to put you to sleep on Thanksgiving. You just got to dial up a Najee Murray sack and out cold.
And this is a game too where the defense did not get. They almost had a pick.
Lorenzo Burns. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, very, very close for Lorenzo Burns. I finally saw the play. This close to getting that INT.
Centimeters.
But what's funny, and I don't know, because I don't remember them showing it now. I still have to go back and watch the broadcast again. But the celly that was done by the defense after they thought it was an INT was pure enjoyment.
Yeah, if you folks missed it, after Lorenzo thought he had the INT, did he pick that off? They were going for Geno Lewis on that one, were they not?
I'd have to check because I think it was on a deflect. Again, I had to watch again because I know there were two Alouettes in the area when he got the ball. So
okay,
or almost got the ball.
In any event, when Lorenzo thought he had the INT, The entire defense ran to the end zone. Lorenzo off to the side. Everybody else lines up like bowling pins, and he throws rolls the ball towards him as though he's bowling, and knocks down all the pins for a perfect strike. I mean, just a absolutely great celly, but all for naught because, yes, unfortunately, the replay center determined that it was actually an incomplete pass. So
just barely. Barely.
Lorenzo got robbed. What can I say? But I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, still, it was nice celly, and listen, just means Lorenzo is just going to have to get an interception on the next game. That's all.
There you go. There were 4 knockdowns by the team by the defense, 2 by the Quads, as Cliff was mentioning to earlier. Beverett's sack was 20 yards. 20. We remember that was in the fourth. That was in the fourth.
And it led to a turnover on downs as well. So not only did that means Montreal gets the ball back, but I mean it was with authority, as you said. 20, like was it like third? I think it was 3rd and 2, and Dustin Crum was trying for the sneak, and it just didn't the pocket collapsed around him. He had no choice but to try to move forward, but everybody was just coming after him, and then as he backed away, Bev was just all over him like a cheap suit, and yeah, the rest, as they say, is history. I keep saying it every single time, and it bears repeating. You can't forget the Bev. Never, never, never.
Talked about special teams also. They were on one. I said not only about with Dequoy, but also special teams beast Tyrell Richards. Oh man, we talked to him post game, and he was still jacked. His parents happened to be there too, and I guess Ty does not drop curse words very often around his parents because just the reaction alone from his mom and dad were just absolutely golden. And Ty was on one. He was being an instigator. I mean, really an instigator. I don't know how it came off on TV, but on one play, he was able to, I guess, poke the bear enough that he got an Ottawa defender ejected. In that game, that's the 25-yard, 15 plus 10, so 25-yard penalty. Owls didn't get anything from it. That's frustrating enough, considering you start your drive at 20. But still, just everything seemed to go well. And as I said, Ty was on one, and he's been a special teams demon all year. And my hope is that, because his current contract status is that this is his last year of his contract, I sure hope that they sign him to a long-term contract, or at least a multi-year contract, before free agency starts.
Without question. He's just been so much fun to watch, and especially the fact that he's been healthy all year makes a tremendous difference. I mean, we've talked about it. Unfortunately, the injury bug has kind of bitten him pretty hard over the past couple of years, but when he is on the field, none better. I mean, he has proven that he is truly in a class all by himself. And to be able to contribute to this, I mean, this linebacking core of Montreal is just fearsome, but you throw Tyrell in there when he's able to get reps, and that just makes a good thing even better. But I mean, his bread and butter is special teams, and he just does it so well. And for him to be able to get into the head, and basically, I don't know where he lives in Montreal during the season, but I do know he now has a second residence, and he's living rent-free in Marco Dubois' head, because he basically chirping got to the point where he had no choice but to react, Dubois, and that basically got him tossed out of the game. You hate to see it, but you love to see it as well. So Tyrell Richards is truly in a class by himself, and well done. I'm sure his parents are not too impressed with his choice of language, I guess, but hey, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah. And before we speak with Dustin, let's also talk about the offense, because obviously I said, even though
Oh,
Davis claims that he had a bad game, let's start with the scare first, where Davis, for some reason, was in on a short yardage play. The explanation
yeah.
came from both Davis and from Coach Moss that it was because of they were trying to basically run a 2-minute drill. It was at the end of the second quarter, and they didn't want to waste any more time, and potentially have to use a timeout. So Davis went ahead and took the short yardage. Well, he got it with no problem. But he got an extra about 5 yards. But because of his momentum, stuff like that, all of a sudden he just gets absolutely walloped by the Ottawa defender. Uh, and I think helmet came off and he got a gash. That's what they're calling it because we didn't know at the time on the
Mhm.
side of his nose. And well, first, let me ask you about that. What are your thoughts on that? I understand the reasoning. But my thought is too is that you have a guy who's very capable in Shea Patterson, who's been a very good for us on short when it comes to short yardage. Thoughts on keeping him in on that third down short yardage play?
Not 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 a fan, to tell you the truth. I mean, this is your franchise quarterback. I mean, you've already gone half your season without this guy under center. To take a risk like that, I mean, I know fortune favors the bold, but I mean that was uh, again, if we didn't have Shea Patterson, who's more than capable of short yardage, that'd be one thing. But you do. I mean, this is an unnecessary risk. A headshot essentially is what it was, even though
Yeah.
the replay center didn't seem to agree that this was a headshot or worthy of a you know any sort of penalty against Ottawa for this. But you're basically putting your quarterback in harm's way unnecessarily, and for what? To gain a yard to keep the drive going. I mean, this is what you have Shea Patterson for. It is carelessness. And I don't care how much of a gamer Davis is, and we love him for it. I get that. I get his drive, his fire, all that jazz. But that was just a terrible oversight on his part, on Jason Moss's part, everybody that was involved in that decision. I really hope they want that one back. I really hope that they reconsider something like that. I get momentum, I get all of that, but I'm pretty sure Davis is a handsome guy. You don't want him messing up his face like that, and causing any. God
He's
forbid,
already gotten a tooth chip this year.
right? I mean, has he not suffered enough? I mean, this is to me, it's just silly. It's just silly, and like you could tell he was pissed off too at everything that happened, the aftermath of it all. And even when I spoke with him after the game, like I mean, you could tell his mood was not his usual jovial self. And
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of that. And I even asked, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I'm fine. I'm fine." It's like he was very, I won't say curt, but or short with me or anything like that. But like you could tell he was like, I think he just wanted to forget this happened. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
okay. Got the win. That's all well and good and all that, but I think there was a big part of him that just kind of wanted to forget a lot of what took place on Monday, and that would be one of those instances. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but yeah, just if I'm going based strictly on body language and just that overall vibe around him after the game, yeah, I think there was a big part of him that wishes that didn't happen.
There's more to the story too. After that, Davis did stay out, and we didn't know what it was. We didn't know if it was a broken nose or this, that, the other, because he kept on bending over, and he was obviously we now know he was spitting blood. Um,
Some people
he
thought he was
stayed in the
throwing
game
up.
for a
I'm
couple.
like,
No, I didn't think so. But when he did it a couple of times, did a couple of plays, but then all of a sudden he gets pulled by CFL CFL spotters, and he
mhm.
was even said after the game it's like, come on, I've already been out for three plays. I've been in 3 more plays. How are you pulling me? But I have a sneaking suspicion the reason why they pulled him was because of the blood. That's the
Mhm.
main thing, and I think most people may have forgotten about that, and maybe Davis now knows about that too. Is because of the blood.
Yeah.
So he was pulled. He still went through concussion protocol, and they sewed him up during halftime. So he passed concussion protocol, got sewed up. and he came back out because at first we weren't sure because after the ceremony for our Hall of Famers, MBT was warming up. We didn't see Davis until like the last 2 minutes before the second half kicked off.
Yeah.
So we weren't sure. But you know, I get it, but I wish they would have gone with Shea Patterson too. And I know I kind of glanced over this too. By the way, we got real quickly before we finish up these great guys in the offense, special teams, second half, that kick by Jose Maltos Diaz. Oh, man, it's like what movie did they do that? I think they did it in like the Adam Sandler remake of Mean Machine or whatever, The Longest Yard. I think they did that in The
Longest Yard.
Longest Yard.
Okay.
Or either The Longest Yard or they did it in The Waterboy. One of those two. But basically, it's like honing in on the guy, and it just kicked off. And they asked, he's been asked already, was it on purpose? Hell yeah, it was on purpose.
Yeah, it was a
These are
calculated risk.
again, these are plays that happen at practice, and what happens at practice stays at practice.
But yeah, they were working on that. It was a very calculated risk. And I was able to confirm that with special teams coach Byron Archambault. He did tell me that this is something they'd been working on for quite some time and just were waiting for the right moment to pull it out. It reminded me of the 2009 Super Bowl when the New Orleans Saints played the Indianapolis Colts. The Saints were kicking off the second half. And
I remember, yeah.
And what happened was it was an onside kick, which was hilarious because the Skycam followed the kick, started to follow the kick, but then had to basically back up right away because, it was an onside kick, which New Orleans recovered, and they started the second half on offense and ended up going on to win the Super Bowl that year. I got a lot of that vibe. I mean, okay, not exactly. It wasn't exactly an onside kick, but it was probably as close to an onside kick that you'd be willing to try on an opening kickoff you can get. I mean, just absolutely brilliant. Like, and he drilled the guy too. Like, that was the other thing that was hilarious. Like the thud that you heard, the ball bouncing off the Ottawa defender, and basically right back to the Alouettes. It was like it caught everybody by surprise too. I mean, not just Ottawa, but I think everybody in the stands too was like, "Whoa, wait, what? What the hell?" It's that realization as soon
as on Flightdeck Live with Josh Archibald, he was on the boundary and he didn't even know about it.
Nope. I mean, like to take your own to surprise your own teammates, even it was something like that is absolutely phenomenal. And let's not forget, the minute the ball touches a player, even if they're not trying for it, it becomes live. So in which case, yes, Montreal was able to recover the ball, and they start on offense. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do anything with it other than, get a couple plays in, but it wasn't quite a 2-and-out. But unfortunately, no points as a result of that. But top marks to Byron Archambault, to Jose Maltos Diaz, and everybody that was involved. And the more I think about it, it sounds like they were the only two involved in this. But
Yeah.
What a play! What a play! What a ballsy play! No pun intended. I mean, that was well done.
I see what you did there. Yeah. But speaking of Jose Maltos, by the way, came into the game needing 9 field goal, successful field goals to tie the Alouettes record for most field goals in a season, which I think is held by David Duval, if I remember correctly. He had 5. So he's this close. He could potentially set a record over the next 2 games.
Cinco de Maltos.
Yeah. So, and coming into the game, we had Tyler Snead, who was this close to almost getting to 1,000 yards for his first time in his pro career. Finally did it in the second half. This guy, considering all the quarterbacks that he's had to work with this year and all the changes in plays and playbooks and game plans and stuff like that, so many props to the need for Snead to get to 1,000 yards. So well deserving.
Yeah. And as I've stated over the past couple of weeks, there's no way that you don't make this guy the Alouettes nominee for most outstanding player. I mean, even though I've said on numerous occasions, with what Davis Alexander has done this year, that alone almost warrants that conversation. But no, truly, I mean, Tyler Snead really has done it all. And as you said, despite regardless of who the quarterback is, regardless of the playbook, regardless of the play calls, he just finds a way. He finds a way to get those yards. He gets touchdowns. He does phenomenal plays. I mean, like I've called him Ben Cahoon 3.0 before, and it sticks because I mean he's a short guy, but man, he's got great hands, great speed, does all the things that Ben Cahoon did back in the day. I mean, what more can we say about Tyler Snead other than we do feel the need for Tyler Snead.
Leading receiver was Austin Mack. He had 5 receptions for 87 yards and a touchdown. 2
And
weeks
what a
in a row.
touchdown. Hold on.
Oh, I
What
know.
a touchdown that was. And for Davis Alexander, he just stood there, and I would say grip it and rip it. That's exactly what he did, just effortlessly too. And for Mac to
Like
make
the
the
Rambo
catch,
touchdown 2 weeks ago.
pretty much. I mean, it's just beautiful and got everybody out of their seat. Like, holy moly, what a throw, what a catch by Le Big Mac, and getting his first touchdown of 2025. Again, couldn't come at a better time.
Yeah, and having the wherewithal to, he went down knowing he wasn't touched and reaching his hand over the to touch the goal line to get that touchdown.
Yep. I mean, that's effort. That's putting 100% effort into everything that he does. And yeah, very happy for the Big Mac to get that touchdown. And again, still just what a throw by Davis. I mean, it's the concentration and I mean, my God, I mean, you're not going to find a prettier pass than that, ladies and gentlemen.
No. Besides that, it was Cole Speaker, 37 yards. Then it was Tyler Snead. Then you had Tyson Philpott, which is the only other Alouette who could potentially get to 1,000 yards this season. It's going to be tough, but it's possible that he could get to 1,000 yards, but it's going to be very tough to do so. But, again, like normal, over the past couple of weeks, Davis has taken advantage of all the wide receivers that he has as disposal. He himself only had 7 incompletions. He was 23 of 30 for 240 yards, no interceptions, and a touchdown. And again, again, as we've seen, it's just a different team with Davis Alexander under center. The only thing that's really that I am not concerned with, because I know I asked you about this on Flightdeck Live, is the running game. Didn't get us going as quickly as we thought it would. It stalled, but then they got the yards that they needed in the second half. I love having the option I'd rather see a balanced attack between running and passing, because I still think it's a necessary part, despite what we know what Davis Alexander can do.
Yeah, and Stevie Scott, he's ready to break one out. And he had a couple of nice runs, couple of nice angry runs, I like to call them. Benjamin as well, the other running back that's had to dress in place of STE and Travis Tice.
Mm-hmm.
But Stevie Scott, I mean, I spoke with him also too after the game, and you can tell like he's jacked, he's excited, like he definitely wants to be a part of this offense. So I mean, just got to feed him. I mean, yes, I understand you've got some absolutely talented receivers, and you got to give them the ball as much as possible. But don't forget, you got a pretty solid running back in Stevie Scott III. So hopefully he's going to get a chance to get his hands on the rock a little bit more, with in the next 2 games, and just be that safety valve, if you will, for Davis Alexander if needed. So yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more of the running attack used in over the next couple of games. But I mean, overall, this offense is really just firing on all cylinders right now.
It is, and as I said, few of the hiccups. Tyson did not do as much returning with James Letcher still out, but I mean, it was a solid core who was doing the returning on both kicks and on punts. So really can't complain there. And as I said, it's just a matter of what they're going to do next, and which we'll be talking about coming up. But before we do that, Cliff, we have a guest this week, and it's a gentleman that I thought we had on the show before, but no, this is his very first time here on the show. And I think what better way to talk about a gentleman who has so much involvement in the CFL, especially with him being one of the play-by-play guys over on TSN, but also one of the voices over at Edmonton Sports Talk. So without further ado, let's talk with Dustin Nielson.
Ladies and gentlemen, the CFL season is just flying right by, it feels like, doesn't it? But tonight we are very blessed to be able to join by one of the voices of the CFL on TSN. He's also a part of TSN 1260 out in Edmonton, and just an overall great guy. So I am very thrilled to be able to welcome one Dustin Nielson to the Alouettes Flightdeck. But I got to do it properly. Dustin Nielson, what is happening?
Finally got to drop one of those last weekend, Cliffy. Like, it had been a while. I had some games where I was watching all these other guys get some amazing plays, and I was like, man, I got to be due for something crazy coming up. And then we got it. I mean, the catch that Emilus made to kick off the week right off the guy's back, that was awesome. And then yeah, I mean, that game over the weekend was just incredible. The rank and run was awesome. I got fired up for that. Then obviously a ridiculous fumble recovery on a kick return touchdown, which I don't think I've ever called one of those. And then old Pokey Wilson, Ontario Wilson, making that catch to end all catches. So it was I left Commonwealth feeling pretty good about my work that night. It was a lot of fun. That crazy stuff happens in this league all the time, and managed to take advantage of a couple of them.
Yeah, it's funny. I even tweeted out during that game, like, someone called Gwen Stefani because this is bananas.
Great song, by the way. That's a good throwback. That was a banger back in the day.
I may be dating myself with that, but what are you going to do?
Hey, no, man, I dated myself. I know exactly what you're talking about. So that's a good one. I can remember the video and everything. It was that was a good one. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, do you wish you had been able to call the game in Montreal, considering all the banana stuff that happened there?
Man, I'll call it. I do every single game if I possibly could. Like, give me all 4 games in a weekend. I want to try to take that down. It'd be pretty much impossible, but that would be fun. I mean, like, the thing is, like, regardless of the game, even some of these games now where it's involving some teams that might not be in playoff contention anymore, strange things still happen. And I know a lot of people say, oh, a lot of the strange stuff's going to not happen anymore because of the rules. And, some of the missed field goal stuff probably won't happen. And, a doink off the uprights when you're trying to throw a touchdown won't happen. But the CFL is still going to provide crazy things. It always does. I'm not sure if I can put my finger on exactly why. But from week to week, there's stuff that I'm pretty sure, like you guys mentioned it, the season is kind of flying by. Like, I'm ready to get to the playoffs, don't get me wrong. But, like, it got to week 11, and I was like, my God. Like, regular season's half over. Like, it really flew by early on the calendar, I think, this year. And maybe it's because we get a bunch of entertaining games from week to week. It's been an awesome season so far.
That's just it. You've seen so much stuff, like, not just with the Alouettes, but pretty much with all 9 teams. Like, I mean, like, there's just been some things that's just been absolutely, well, bananas. There's probably no better way to describe just what we've been able to see this season.
Yeah, there isn't, man. I can't wait to see, like, give me a top 30 plays of the year, top 50 plays of the year. I mean, there's enough every weekend to pluck at least 2 plays out of every weekend that you could watch back and go, my God, like, that happened this year over and over and over again, right? So, I mean, I can throw some of those long field goals in there. Like, when guys are banging in 63-yarders, that's a pretty cool thing to call. So, yeah, it's no shortage of. It's a great league to do play-by-play in. I'm just gonna say it. Like, it's very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, even just with this weekend, as you brought it up, I mean, just starting with Saskatchewan versus Toronto, absolute madness. And then it almost feels like every other team was like, wait, hold my beer. Yeah. And then they do something crazy. And then so on. And then all the way up, right up until Thanksgiving Monday with the Alouettes and the Red Blacks, especially with Jose Maltos and that second half kickoff. Insane.
You know what's crazy is, like, there was that one week. What week was it when, like, 4 games were decided by, like, less than 8 points or something like that? And it was just 2 walk-off winners, like, ridiculous things. And that's why I'm like I look forward to the playoffs, because I know we're not gonna have a ton of playoff games, but just with the 2 games every weekend, both of them could be absolute all-time classics, right? And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I'm actually doing the East playoffs this year. I've done the West playoffs for the last couple of years, but I'm coming out to do the East playoffs with 40 this year. So I'll be in some sort of combination of Montreal and Hamilton for the playoffs this year, which I'm pretty excited about. It's going to be cool.
Well, that's it. So
Cool.
we're guaranteed to see you. Just we don't know whether it's November 1st or November 8th.
I've been in Montreal 3 times this year, which is nuts. That's more than I've been in Montreal the last few years, just because we're trying to get everybody across the country and into different stadiums, which is nice. Travel's not great on Sunday coming home, but it's been nice. Getting 3 games in Montreal. I haven't been there in a couple of years. That was good. Got to Ottawa for 3 games. That was good. Did 1 in Toronto. I think I got 1 in Hamilton. So anyway, it's been nice to kind of be out east this year, and it'll make it easier on me prepping for the playoffs, knowing that I've done a bunch of these East teams a lot this year. It'll help for sure.
That's true, and I know we haven't talked to you in a while, and I know it's kind of been talked quite a bit. And I just still wanted to know your thoughts on it, Dustin. I'm going to look at it this way: what do you think U Sport's going to do concerning the new rules? And give us your quick hot take on what you thought about the announcement.
Yeah, U Sports is interesting. I got into this business through 7 years with the University of Alberta Golden Bears, 8 years maybe, and that was at a tough time when they didn't beat anybody. I went through a stretch of 3 years doing home games where I didn't call a win. So I got a soft spot for U Sports, and it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening with the field dimensions. I mean, you look at the feeder systems into both leagues, NFL and CFL. And we've got guys who've gone from U Sports south of the border, have managed to find a way to play. In the end, somebody said this on my show that week when we were all talking about CFL for the entire week. And football is about tackling, passing, and catching football, right? And yeah, things are going to be done differently a little bit from a strategic perspective, mostly from a coaching perspective. But I think I think U Sports probably can just continue on as they are now. I mean, for the teams that play in these stadiums, I don't have the answer to that. I hope the league does. I'm not too sure what the answer to that is. But as far as the announcement goes, one, whether you like the announcements or not, and I didn't love all of them, but I had a chat with the commissioner the day before, and he's like, "We're going to be bringing these in. I want to give you 24 hours to think about it, and just not to catch you off guard, right?" So he kind of brought us in the loop, and when he first told me, I probably reacted like a lot of fans when they heard it for the first time. I was just like, "Oh, this seems kind of crazy." And then I started to think about it, and I could see how it was all sort of tied together, right? You can't keep the 55 in if you're going to move the field goal, if you're going to move the uprights to the back. It's just too far to go to get into field goal range at least, right? So I kind of understood it. I love the fact that for a week, everybody in Canada was talking about the Canadian Football League. Not just you guys and me and, the hardcores across the country. Everybody was talking about it. And, that necessarily isn't always a good thing, but I thought it was an okay thing for the league. And look, this is an early legacy move from the new commissioner. It might not work. I mean, we might be sitting here 10 years from now going, Stu Johnson ruined the league. But I also think, as much as I love the league, and I probably would have left everything the same, I might have done something about the Rouge, I'm not going to lie, but this is also a league that, as much as we love it, a lot of people I know don't watch the league. And maybe this does help. I'm not sure it does, but the way the league was going currently, I still think it's relatively healthy, but there has to be room for improvement in some way. And is this the right way? To be determined. And it's bold. Don't get me wrong. 6 months into a 10 years commission to be rolling something like this out. I told him at the time, I was like, wow, you're not messing around. This is pretty serious. But I think as of right now, as of this moment late in the season, I'm sort of intrigued to see where it goes. I do think the field will look hilariously awkward if with still being so wide and then being 10 yards shorter. It'll be kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. If it doesn't work, it's not on me. It's on the commission. So we'll see how that pans out.
I was actually able to speak with somebody who is involved in a U Sport team.
Yeah.
And They themselves didn't know what was going to happen. And I personally, Dustin, think that considering when the U Sport AGM is going to be held, which is going to be in June of 2026, that's going to put a lot of pressure on these teams to decide before that, because you have the teams, as you mentioned, that play in CFL stadiums, that also have U Sport teams. I think it's 4. But the thing is, look at all that you got to get new turf in. Either way, for a lot of these stadiums, you're gonna have to get new turf. Montreal for sure. It's almost like given. You're gonna have to get new turf. It's 13 years old. But then you look at you look at Calgary. They just put new turf in. And the question is for Calgary, and you may know better than I do, Dustin, are there lines and numbers stitched in? Because if they are, they're going to have to tear it up and put whole new turf in. So it's about what they decide to do with rules, and then it's money, unfortunately. And I think there'll be some hard decisions made. I will admit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything about this is going to be easy. I also think in any business, if you're going to try to advance things, it's probably not going to be easy. Like there's going to have to be some issues along the way. I would hope, and it's a pretty big chunk of this conversation. You know, the youth sports and youth football and things along those lines. I would hope that the Canadian Football League office was aware of what they were getting into in that aspect of it, right? Like I hope it wasn't like laid it all out and then announced it and then was like, oh no, what have we done with it? Like I have to hope that there's some sort of plan or willingness to work with these other programs on this. And I know the CFL wants to branch out to be involved in more of Football Canada across the country. And maybe that is something that they can help with from that element of it.
Yeah, one thing it really kind of bothered me here was people keep calling this the Americanization of the Canadian Football League, and I'm like, no, it's not. Like because even Steve Daniel, one of the bigwigs, if you will, that was sort of behind a lot of these decisions that were being made. One of the things he said, like, there's certain things you just simply cannot change. That being the 12 men on the field, 1 yard off the wider field, 3 downs. Like these things you cannot touch. Anything else is pretty much up for debate or consideration, but there are certain tenements that you can't touch. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as you kept those things in principle, I'm in agreement that, yeah, other things can be tweaked or worked on, and I feel like they've done that, but it's still, as far as I'm concerned, the core element of Canadian football is still in place.
The one thing that the commissioner said that I think was smart to say, and I think somewhat accurate, is that they're not changing the Canadian game. They're changing the canvas that the Canadian game is being played on, right? Like most of the outside of the Rouge, most of the rules are staying the same. I know some people have freaked out about the play clock, but I went home at some point that week. I think it was a Elks Ticats game that I had the most recent. I PVR all of them, but I think I just turned on the most recent one, and I went through the first quarter. And when the play ended, I just sort of hit start on my clock on my phone and just saw how long until they blow this thing in, or how long until snap. And it was all over the place. Like sometimes it was 16 seconds up to 39 seconds. So, you know, I think the play clock thing is actually really going to help the game. I know some people hate it, but I think the play clock thing kind of flew under the radar as a low key, really good addition to the thing. But I mean, there's hills that you would die on, and it's 3 downs. Like that's the one that everybody will die on. Like, do not touch that. I will have nothing good to say about the decision to change to 4 downs if it ever happens. So, but you know, the moving some of the other stuff back, I think it might polish the game up a little bit to those who have been hesitant to watch it because it looks silly sometimes. You know, I think that's what they're hoping for. I can kind of buy into it a little bit. But once again, I mean, it's a mystery until we see it. It might work, it might not. Like, it's ballsy. It's an all-time ballsy move to do what they did. But I think they managed to avoid some of those die on a hill factors for a lot of people, which is why even some people that I thought would be very opposed to it were like, yeah, you know what? Let's see how this goes.
It's the biggest change too since 1986. Most people don't remember that's when the end zones went from 25 to 20 yards.
Yeah.
So
and no one died.
Everyone kept going. Like, you know, it was funny because I don't know if it was that weekend that they announced the changes or the weekend after, but I was on a field somewhere, I think after the game. Might have been Winnipeg. Might have been Ottawa. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I was on the field and I was in the end zone, and they've got like the 5-yard marks along the edge of the end zones. So I kind of just stood at where the 15 is, and I kind of looked, and I was like, from field level, I looked, I was like, you know what? Like, this still is a reasonable amount of room to score a touchdown on a wider field. Like, they should. Like, I don't think that 5 yards at the back of end zone is going to change too much.
I don't think so either. And if anything, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna miss the 55-yard line. But I mean, if
we all are. Let's not. I mean, you're not the only one. Like, yeah,
exactly. But I mean, okay, if that's the one sacrifice you have to make when you really truly think about it, to have a better clarification of the Rouge and get rid of that stigma of it being a loser point, I mean, to me, that's well worth it. That's a trade-off I would take all day, every day.
That's like the one thing that I worry about is that, and I know it hasn't happened, but can you imagine? Like, for example, I do the radio call on the Grey Cup. Grey Cup ends with a missed field goal that goes through the end zone for a point. First of all, I'm going to lose my mind on the call because it'd be like, oh my God, they missed, but you win a championship by missing a kick. Like, I worry about how much the league would be ridiculed by, first of all, people south of the border. Not that I care about those, but people in Canada who are anti-CFL are going to be like, that's the exact reason I don't watch this league, which is a lie. That's not why they don't watch it. They just watch it because they don't like football. Or so, like, to avoid that disaster, imagine if, like, the first year in the Grey Cup, there's a field goal to win it, at, like, in the new rules, and it goes wide, and it would have won in the old rules. Like, that would be insane. So, yeah, I mean, I think they just polished it up a bit. Like, I was a little sad, but I'm hoping to be around calling games in this league for a long time, and I want it to be extremely sustainable and continue to grow. And if that's what this does, then some things had to be sacrificed. I mean, the National Hockey League has changed things. It hasn't died. Like, it's changed the way it's officiated the game. It's had the trapezoid. It's took out the red line. Like, they've done things, and it still lives on. I've been telling everybody for 2 years, fantasy football, CFL fantasy football is how you're going to get new people. The size of the field probably isn't going to draw in new people, but you want to get 20-year-olds watching football, CFL fantasy football, and I've been told that it's coming, and I think it's going to be great for everybody.
I think what's funny, by the way, after the week after they make the announcement there, Dustin, is that all the teams that were kicking Rouges. I thought it was hilarious. It was like either it was an amazing thing or it was a giant finger to the commish. I don't know what it was, but I still think it was great either way.
Hey, man, whatever you got to do to get your message across.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about this Alouettes team. You've seen enough of their games. You've called enough of their games this year. Tell me, what do you think about the Montreal Alouettes? Like, how they're sitting right now. I mean, it's easy to say right now they're pretty much on fire. Like, they're catching fire, I feel, at the right time with Davis Alexander coming back after his injury. Team's now on a 4-game winning streak after going through a 5-game losing streak. What are you seeing in this Alouettes team that makes you think, okay, this team truly does have a chance to be something special?
I mean, you can start it with Davis Alexander. I mean, the guy, he's so intense even on the sidelines. Like, some of that's got to rub into the rest of the team when he's not even playing. So, I mean, I thought all along, I think a few of us have been saying, like, if they can get healthy at the right time, the Alouettes are going to maybe be the team to beat. And, I mean, if you it's so tough because, I've kind of been on this work train most of the year for MOP, and I think he probably deserves it when it's all said and done. And BC has been playing extremely well. And if you were to put a gun to my head right now and say, who is the Grey Cup favorite? I mean, this is no disrespect to the Riders. I think the world of Trevor Harris, and I think they're going to be a tough out, especially if somebody having to go into Mosaic to win there. But like the Montreal Alouettes right now, I think have to be the pick to win the Grey Cup. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on with you guys right now. I've been thinking that if they get healthy, which they are, I think they're going to be an extremely tough out. I mean, Davis Alexander's a gamer. He's got it. I think Yeah, I think a pretty underrated receiving core. I mean, all those guys are insanely talented, but there's a lot of talk about Hatcher and McInnes and those guys in BC. I think Tyler Sneed is just an absolute gamer. I love that guy. And Davis Alexander has got some of these other guys going. On the defensive side of the ball, we know they've got a group that can make plays. Yeah, they have they have as good of chance to win the Grey Cup as any of the elites, and I think you have to put them in that elite. If I'm Hamilton, whether the game's going to be played in Hamilton or Montreal, I'm a little bit worried about the Montreal Alouettes. And, Montreal Alouettes should be a little bit worried about the Ticats as well. But I would not want to play this Montreal team the way it is constructed right now.
And I'm glad you bring up Hamilton, too, because, yes, Hamilton does have the season series. But let's not forget, both those games, Davis Alexander was on the injured list. It was McLeod Bethel-Thompson, who unfortunately just wasn't able to get it done. McLeod Bethel-Thompson during the first game, and then James Morgan the second game. And unfortunately, neither one of those guys were able to get it done.
Nothing against those guys, but they're not Davis Alexander. It would be the same thing on the other side if Bo didn't play in the games for Hamilton and Davis did for Montreal, right? Like it's so tough to read into, like, let's say upcoming playoff matchups. Like the Elks game that I did this last week. They played earlier in the season, but Cody Fajardo wasn't starting for Edmonton, and Winnipeg didn't have Brady Oliveira. So you cannot read into that game at all, right? So the season series, to me, it's not even worth mentioning if Davis Alexander wasn't playing in those games. Like it's a completely different team. It's a completely different game. So I would throw all that stuff out the window.
You're talking about Davis. What I thought it was funny. I'm sure you heard the post-game press conference or the quotes that came out of it. For a guy who only threw 7 incompletions, threw for 240 yards and a touchdown and no picks, and he called it his worst game as a pro.
You know what? That's what elites do, though. Like guys who view themselves that high, there's probably 3 or 4 things in that game that he's just like, I simply can't do that. And that's going to live with him, right? For maybe just until the next game, maybe even a little bit longer on. He'll go back to that game and go, remember that game? Like I should have smoked those guys by a little bit more. Maybe they should have. But I mean, he has no reason to not carry this swag right now, right? Like beat him. Somebody beat him. and then you can maybe question the way he approaches the game. But until that happens, man, I'm very excited to see what he does. Somebody brought this up. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was, I don't know if it's somebody in the booth or somebody I was just talking to at the stadium. But they kind of said Davis Alexander's like a modern day Matt Dunnigan. Like jacked, will sling it, not a huge body. Like he's not like this 6'3", 6'4" type of guy. But Dunnigan was an absolute bulldog, man. And you kind of get that feeling right now with Davis Alexander. Jason Moss must love him. Like Jason Moss, with the intensity that Moss brings to the game, he must absolutely just love Davis Alexander.
I'm sure he sees a lot of himself in Davis Alexander, just a little smaller stature because Moss is not like 6 feet.
Yeah,
considerably taller. But yeah, I think you're right. That fire, that intensity, and let's not forget he spent half the season on the sidelines on the 6-game injured list. So naturally, he's going to be raring to go, and just even just a little bit pissed off about having to go out and show himself, prove himself again to people, because I'm sure a lot of people are even still going like, yeah, he's 10-0, and which drives me nuts. Like, what difference?
There's no but on 10-0.
Thank you.
That's just haters at that point. Like, win football games. I don't care how you do it, and he's done it in spectacular fashion. He's done it in maybe not so much spectacular fashion, but nobody has ever beat him. So there's no but on 10-0. Right? And you know how many great quarterbacks have been in this league and haven't been able to accomplish what this guy's already accomplished? Like it's I hope he's around for a long time, man. Like I hope we see Davis Alexander in Montreal for 8 years. Like let's let some of these guys build legacies in this league, man. And I think you know what? I think he's a guy. Got Nathan Rourke out west, and Davis Alexander in the east. Like these are face of the league type guys. And I think he's kind of built like that, like the mental strength and correct approach to it to be the guy, And I think the league needs to really sort of buy into that and push these guys.
Yeah,
and he's humble as hell, by the way, Dustin. He is so humble. He's like the guy next door. I mean, he'll talk to you about anything. That's what I think. That's the type of quarterback that they need. And considering how long he's been in Montreal, how long he stayed holding the clipboard and stuff like that, and what he learned from the guys that he played behind. I mean, it's you know, we've already everybody knows we saw Davis his first day at camp in Trois-Rivières, a few years back. We saw something in him immediately, and it's just
Yeah,
great
there
to
was
see
a buzz
how
around him right away, wasn't there? Like, I think I
Yep.
remember that. People were like, yeah, this Davis Alexander guy in Montreal, like he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, that was us. We were creating that buzz because again blew us away. Like first day of camp, this kid is slinging it, just absolutely grip it and rip it. I mean, damn, when this guy gets some experience, some seasoning under him, he's going to be dangerous. And
And
sure
just stay
enough,
healthy, right? Like just stay healthy. Give us a full healthy season of Davis Alexander, man.
Well, we can say
man.
too is that and it's no secret. This is his first injury as a pro, and I didn't like how it was done initially with him getting hurt the first time with his hammy, coming back 3 weeks later. Uh, they did it right this time. They did it right this time because they knew with him being the franchise quarterback that he is, they did it right this time and they took their time. And it looks like so far so good. And they're still taking it, Dustin, as if he is still hurt. They're still doing
Yeah.
work after games. They're still making sure that he gets his work in just in case. I like how I like how they did this. It kind of reminds me, Cliff, of what they did with VA, putting him in the oxygen chamber when he'd hurt his I think his shoulder a few years back in Montreal. So
I was chatting with Jason Moss, like I think it was in the final game Davis sat out. I did that game in Toronto. Montreal. I've done all three of those Montreal Toronto games this year, but the one was in Toronto. I remember I was down the field. I think it was in Toronto. Sorry, guys. I do it. I just it all merges together throughout the year. But he was riding the bike before the game, putting in a pretty I'm talking about Jason. Like Jason's on the bike before the game, just going like crazy. And we went over and talked to him, and we were talking about the injury, and he goes, could he play right now? He goes, I've seen him run, maybe. Doctor's like, I think they've done a pretty good job this time coming back. And it's tough with a young guy like that because they're going to be like, oh, I'm good. Like you can't break me. Like, get me back in there. But this is a franchise guy. Like, I mean, I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but I mean, with this guy, you could build, Eastern dynasty sort of around, like East final year after year after year, if this guy can stay healthy and stay on the field. So you want to make sure that, you're not putting any added pressure onto that body for sure. Even though he's jacked, I'd like in the summer if he could not wear that tank top for the rest of us average dudes seeing this worse. I'll say worse than average dudes who are like seeing him. You're just like, my God, man, put on a shirt. Like, what are we doing here?
wait, that means Davis Alexander and Mustafa Johnson have to put on shirts.
And I joked like, okay, if we get Mustafa Johnson on the show, like, are we gonna have to go tarps off because nobody wants to see that? But
tarps off, necks up. Just that's it. Just the necks up.
Exactly. Or get some AI nonsense happening over here.
You can do that nowadays for sure.
That'd be beauty. I'd love that. So obviously, Dustin, we love what you're doing on TSN, but we still wanted to give some props considering that I can only imagine sometimes the sleep you don't get by all the work that you put in with Edmonton Sports Talk. For those who don't follow the Edmonton sports scene, we want you to make sure you give the EST a little bit of love. Tell us about your experience with that.
Yeah, man, it's been pretty cool. Like we had a really good thing going here at 1260, and then when they shut that down, we just took 4 of the guys from there, found some kid who knew YouTube really well, and we just were like, we could have just taken our morning show and done it, but there's a massive appetite for sports in this town, so we said, you know what, let's just start an online digital sports station, which really hadn't been done. We signed deals with TuneIn Radio and iHeartRadio. We're streaming on our own website, obviously on YouTube. We're up to over 13,000 subs now, which is great. And we did that for a year with we have our morning show goes 6 to 9. Then we've got like sort of a roundtable show called The Hangout from 9 to 11. Sports betting show from 11 to 1 with myself and Hustler out of Winnipeg, Andrew Patterson. He's a beauty. And then we had a hockey show from 12 until 1. It went really well for a year. So I decided to expand, hired 4 more guys, added 2 afternoon shows. So we got 10 full-time employees here now. Just moved into a new office that's awesome. We stream 12 straight hours a day on TuneIn and iHeart. Our morning show's now simulcast on 95.7 Cruise FM, which is the first sports FM talk show in like the country's history, which is pretty cool. And we have like Elks pre and post game. We have Oilers pre and post game, and yeah, it's been cool. Like being a business owner, being your own boss is kind of neat, but it's very stressful at times. And then during CFL season, I'm gone or working like every weekend for 5.5 months. So things are. I got a good team here, so we managed to keep rolling. But some of this stuff gets put on hold a little bit till CFL season's over, and I just love all of it. Like none of it's work to me. I just I was a kid. Like I loved sports as a kid. Talked about sports as a kid, and now I just get to do it with 10 buddies in an office here in Edmonton and fly away on the weekend and do football games. So it's yeah, it's the only like I love it all, but I have two kids who are 8 and 10, and being gone every weekend is tough for sure. But they're football fans. They play sports. Like they sort of get it. But I'd like to be home a little bit more. But I have an awesome job, so I sort of just suck it up and do that. This is what I always wanted to do, and I guess doing that comes with some sacrifices. But it's I can't complain, man. It's awesome.
What's one of the things you learned the most from what you started? If you could go back, now
Yeah.
going back to you a year ago, that's something that you learned that you would tell yourself.
Yeah, that's I probably would say this. Don't care about what anybody else is doing. Like just focus on what you're doing, right? As opposed to what maybe competitors are doing or something like that. There's wasted time worrying about other people when you can just put more of that focus on what you're building. And I think, when you have 10 guys, I would like being a boss of your buddies is kind of interesting as well. But so far, that's been really good. We haven't run into issues in 2 years. So I think that's pretty good. But I think like just stay focused on what you're building and like eliminate any exterior noise, I guess. And I think that's, and also have an awesome wife who can completely look after the kids all the time, support what you do, never give you any shit about it, So yeah, those would be two things that I've learned.
Your wife is the executive producer.
Yeah, she would be. I kind of joke that she's the chief financial officer, but
Okay.
yeah, no, but no, she's awesome. She's a teacher, and yeah, my kids are 8 and 10, and they both are heavily involved in all types of different sports. And my son wants to grow up and work at Edmonton Sports Talk when he's older, so that's very
nice.
And actually, kids say that, but I think this little bugger actually wants to do it. Like he's just like, I don't want to do anything else. Like I just want to come work with you. So if I could do that, that would make it all worth it. If I could work with my boy like for 30 years, I'd sign up for that right now.
That's cool.
You're building a legacy. That's tremendous, right?
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Yeah, and you know what? Actually, my dad works for me part-time because he handles all of our like human resources and invoicing and payroll and stuff. So it's actually like I get to talk to my dad like twice a week just for business stuff, which is awesome too, because they don't live in Edmonton. They live in Cranbrook, BC. So it's actually, it's kind of helped my family, like bring everything together. It's been very cool.
It's like they say, do what you love and you never work a day in your life, right?
Bingo. Like you are right. Like that's what it is. Like we have a business, we do like a full staff meeting every couple of months, go over a bunch of stuff. Tonight, because this new office is twice as big as our old office, we're doing a draft of chores. So we're going to do the draft order, and then the guys are going to have to pick if they want to vacuum for 2 months or they want to do the bathrooms for 2 months. And then in 2 months from now, we'll do it again. So I'm very interested to see, like, we have a lot of fun. Like that's a fun thing. I love drafts. So it should be a good time.
Yeah. We just had our first AGM in Mont Tremblant a couple weeks ago, and that was just shenanigans. So
yeah, you know what? I've been to Montreal 3 times, haven't really got to live like a Montreal nightlife. We went to Gibby's one night for dinner, which was awesome. But I'm looking forward to maybe after a playoff game, booking a later flight home and actually taking in Montreal for an evening,
I'll tell you what, if you can make that happen, we'll take you out. We'll show you the spots. We'll show you what the nightlife's all about. It is it has to be experienced 100%.
That's right. Wanda's, Chez Parade. I mean,
ballet.
this other restaurant and this other restaurant.
I have been to Wanda's, but that was
Okay.
because I couldn't get into the other place. There was too big a line. So yeah, I brought a buddy out there, huge Riders fan. This is back when I was like the number 3 guy behind Cuthbert and Rod Black, and I just kind of got like 7 or 8 games a year, and most of them were out east. So I'd been out there a bit, and then my buddy was a big Riders fan, and his wedding was coming up, and I was his best man. I didn't want to have like a big stag, so I was like, you know what, man? The Riders are playing out in Montreal. Let's just go out there for a couple nights. I'll take you. We'll have a good time. And that was the game that got like rained out. Remember? Yo, you guys remember that one?
Oh, do we
That
ever?
was insane.
Oh, yeah.
Like that was
The asterisk game.
Yeah, we wrote it out for a while, and then I was like, man, I don't think this is going to start again. Like this is insane. So we left, and then we were at an establishment when I found out that the game had actually been canceled. So, and then this year I was there to do the smoke game. They got delayed and pushed to the next day. So I've been around those games.
Man, and I thought Marshall Ferguson had the inclement weather
Recently,
related
it's
games.
been a Marshall thing for sure. Yeah, that's true.
I thought he had that market cornered.
Sit there for 3 hours, 3.5 hours, waiting to see if the smoke's going to let up. That sucks.
I can only imagine that. Like, and credit to the fans in the stands that were patient as hell to do that. Like, that is insane.
Yeah. Those like we had the cameras on one guy who'd obviously been in pill country for a little bit longer than he should have, and we're like, "There's no way this guy comes back the next day." I swear to God, first guy back in pill country next afternoon, same guy, legendary move. Like that's. I would like to get to every stadium in the league as a fan. Like, I'd love to spend a game in pill country. I'd love to spend a game up in the Rum Hut in Winnipeg. Like that would be cool. I think a packed house in Montreal, it seems like right on top of everything, right? Like that's like I love that atmosphere, and I'd like to take that in as well. That would be cool. So maybe that's a bucket list thing down the road.
Yeah, without question. I mean, if you've never experienced a game at Percival Molson Stadium like sold out like it was for Thanksgiving, it is like second to none. Even if it's
it will be for the playoffs, man. That'll be good.
And from your lips to God's ears, Dustin. Man. All right, before we let you go, Dustin, you've been so great with your time. We appreciate it. What are you looking forward to most when it comes to this upcoming playoffs? I know there's still a lot to be decided as far as other than the Riders having the West sewn up for all intents and purposes, but there's still so many moving pieces. How do you see it all playing out?
You know what I am kind of intrigued by? This crossover versus Montreal or Hamilton. However that's going to play out. I'm very curious to see if somebody from the West in a pretty good year in the West can come over and somehow win a crossover in Hamilton or Montreal. Like I think that's going to be a sneaky good game, whatever it is, whatever the combination of those matchups are. I think that crossover game is going to be one for the ages. So I guess I'd have to say, I'm looking forward to all of it, both playoff matchups out east, and then being in Winnipeg. It'd be something if the Riders win a Grey Cup in Winnipeg. Like that'd be kind of strange. I don't know if that would go over well, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that as well. It should be good.
Maybe they'll get their Banjo Bowl trophy finally. Wow. What an experience. All right, Dustin, everybody got a chance to hear you tonight. You did absolutely fantastic. We appreciate you so much. If you're not following Dustin on social media, first of all, shame on you. If not, how do they find you on social media? How do they find Edmonton Sports Talk? Drop your titles.
Yeah, it's easy. Like just go to edmontonsportstalk.com. Has links to everything that we're doing. YouTube.com/@YEG Sports Talk, YEG Sports Talk. And then my Twitter handle still is Nielson TSN 1260. Haven't changed that in 2.5 years. I can't figure out where I want to go with it next. So I'll get that updated at some point. Maybe be Nielson TSN, maybe Nielson play-by-play. I don't know. But easy to find. And we'd love to have people come check out our stuff.
Awesome. Dustin, thank you so much again for joining us here on the Alouettes Flight Deck. We appreciate you and enjoy the rest of this ride because it's not finished just yet.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
Nice having him on, man. For a guy who's being able to basically juggle what he has done, not only with EST but also with him doing his his duties for TSN. Such a great time having him on, and he actually did give a little bit of insight for everything that he's done. But obviously, we got to have him back.
Oh, without question. I just absolute fun chat, and that's what I like. I like when we're able to, bring in people that are not just Alouettes based, but also CFL based as well. And Dustin just does a phenomenal job calling games, regardless of who his analyst partner is. I mean, it's just a great call. So very happy that we were able to get Dustin on to share his thoughts and get his perspective on things, not just Alouettes but CFL in general as well. It's just an absolute blast chatting with him. And yeah, anytime he wants to come on the podcast and chop it up, he's got an open invite.
Exactly. We are on social media. You can find us anywhere. Any of the podcast aggregates do have us. Just do a search for Alouettes Flightdeck. But if you want to check out the entire history, all nine plus seasons of the show, head over to www.alouettesflightdeck.ca. If you want to follow us elsewhere, you can do so over on X or Blue Sky over at Alouettes FL Deck, Facebook over at Alouettes Flight Deck Pod, and Instagram and YouTube over at Alouettes Flight Deck. Speaking of YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell to know when we do go live, whether it be a new show or it is our post game show, Flight Deck Live. So you can find the audio version, the broadcast version, or all of our post game shows, Flight Deck Live, after every Alouettes game, win, lose, or draw, home or away. Also want to thank you guys for allowing us to sell you guys merch. And if you haven't yet, head over to flightdeckgear.ca. You might be able to get it with the partial. Anyways, head over to flightdeckgear.ca and pick up most of our merch. I love Cliffy's look on this one.
Just
also,
buy our stuff, damn it.
There you go. I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Royal Retros, where if you go to royalretros.com and use the code FlightDeck at checkout, you will save 10% off your entire order. And I want to also our collaboration with our pins that is with Pinforce. If you head over to pinforce.io and use the code FlightDeck, you will save 15% off your entire order. So the game itself, Cliff, it's a must-win versus the Red Blacks on Saturday. Which, by the way, your boys will be there. So we will be having Flight Deck Live on the road again. The Owls come into this game have won 10 straight versus Ottawa, 11 straight at TD Place.
You mean Percival Molson Stadium West?
Oh yes, I forgot. They haven't put up the new signs yet. Maybe they're going to do that after they build the new arena and put up the new stands. You never know.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, I tell you. But the main thing is with this game is that they need to win. Sure, they are favored by 10 points, which is funny. They're actually favored currently by less points than they were at home. Mm-hmm. I guess that being home, they get 3 points. But they need to win. Hamilton is on a bye. If they do win this game, they will be in a virtual tie with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The only difference is that Hamilton does lead the season series or won the season series 2-0.
Yep.
It is at a time where, yes, I think they need to go into this game the exact same way that they did this past week. You got to be careful. Any game could be a trap game. You got to be careful, despite them already being in the playoffs and posting at least the semifinal. But they need to go in this game, do what they need to do, win, continue their streak, but they're again get tied virtually and make week 21, where make Hamilton have to play their players. Don't make it an easy game, and hope that the Ottawa Red Blacks can knock them off. But we're not looking ahead. Still need to win this week in order for that all to occur and to cause all this chaos. This is great for CFL fans across the nation, Cliff. Right now, we're going to week 20, and for how many teams have not clinched a playoff spot in the West is crazy. Not knowing who's coming over to the East in the crossover game, whoever they're going to play, is crazy in itself too. The Alouettes are a part of this process, but mainly they got to win this game in order to continue.
Yeah, there's no glorified preseason games, as you like to call them, unless you're the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Then you're your fate is already set. I mean, they have essentially clinched first place and will be hosting the Western Final in Saskatchewan. But pretty much everything else is up for grabs. I mean, yes, the Alouettes and the Tiger Cats will be representing the East. It's just now simply a matter of who will be hosting what, essentially. And yes, there will be a Western crossover, and we still don't know who that's going to be. There's still numerous possible scenarios for how second to fifth essentially ends up, which is
I know.
bonkers. I mean, it's hard to believe, but I mean, conceivably, you could still have the bottom or the second to fifth teams all end up with a 9-9 record, and more chaos will ensue because then you got tiebreaker scenarios aplenty in that one.
I think in that case, isn't Winnipeg eliminated?
No, because I think they have the season series. They do have the season series over Edmonton.
Okay,
But I think it depends on. See, this is
it's too much. There's too much. Go over to the CFL website. You'll check it out there.
Well, actually, was it Derek Taylor had a lot of those scenarios, kind of, like he did most of the math for us on how to figure it out. But it's crazy. That's the only thing I can say is it's crazy. One of the teams from the West, though, will be crossing over to play in the Eastern semifinal. We just don't know if it's going to be against the Montreal Alouettes on November 1st or the Hamilton Tiger Cats on November 1st. And the winner of that faces the other team in the Eastern final. So, I mean, it's absolutely wild that there's so much up for grabs and there's no gimmies. There's no, taking games off or anything like that. Yes, Montreal, even though they're going against the Ottawa Red Blacks, who have, basically, I think, waved the white flag of surrender. They still have to go and play this game at Percival Molson Stadium West and get that win and get in that virtual tie, as you said, and really make Week 21 to be must-see TV, because they'll have to play the Winnipeg Blue Bombers while the Hamilton Tiger Cats take on the Ottawa Red Blacks. Hope and pray, despite hopefully beating Ottawa and winning the season series, that they'll turn around and still do the Alouettes a solid and beat the Hamilton Tiger Cats, which, again, nothing is impossible. And again, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because, again, you still have to play the game on Saturday. Anything can happen in that as well. But, Montreal is going to be still putting their best foot forward. They're not going to be resting anybody. They're not going to be, trotting out their practice squad, to play a game because they simply have to play it. No, this game is extremely important. And that's why you got to tune in. You got to pay attention to this game. And this is also the fan bus game as well, Tim, that a lot of Alouettes Nation will be getting on buses, taking a run to the nation's capital, and they will be supporting the Alouettes on the road as well. In addition to us, we'll be also at Percival Wilson Stadium West as well to support this Alouettes team as they hopefully tie the Hamilton Tiger Cats with a 10-7 record. And as I said, make Week 21 hopefully one for the ages.
Yeah, let's hope. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Yeah, I don't think the weather's going to be as nice as it was for Thanksgiving Monday, but still, either way, it's CFL football. That's all that matters. And as I said to you, everybody before post game, don't forget to watch us. Check out our socials. We will be there for Flightdeck Live, win, lose, or draw, and to talk about the game itself. So, it was. I'm going to say this. I know we talked about before, and we're going to finish up the show. And we thank everybody for joining us this week, by the way, obviously. Thanksgiving has come and gone. I am thankful for my CFL family. I'm thankful for you, Cliff, for being here for the last 10 seasons on the pod and beyond that, because we've known you for a lot longer than that. But I'm just thankful for everybody. I hope everybody had a memorable and a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Because the CFL family is CFL football and the CFL family is we're a unique bunch. I can tell you that. No matter where you're from, where you've attended the games from, I'm just thankful for everybody. And I just want to say I'm thankful for everybody who watched the show, and I'm thankful for all of you.
Yes, absolutely. I as well am thankful for the CFL family, for Alouettes Nation, for everybody that tunes into this show and supports us in these crazy endeavors of ours. It's absolutely awesome. Yeah, this past Monday was truly amazing in so many ways. As I said, I mean, we checked all the boxes. The Alouettes got a great win. I mean, the weather gods smiled upon us. I mean, it really was. We've got a lot to be thankful for, and I am likewise thankful for you, Tim, to have this great forum to be able to share our thoughts on the Montreal Alouettes and on the Canadian Football League and football in general. I mean, it's to be able to sit and talk football with you for 10 seasons now has been such a ride, such an incredible ride, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the next 10 seasons will bring for us, because like it or not, folks, we're not going anywhere. We have no plans on leaving, so you're stuck with us.
We will see you guys either for post game for on Flight Deck Live, or we see you on the show next week. So for the last time, for everybody here at the Alouettes Flight Deck, for Cliffy D, I'm Tim Capper. We're on Final Approach.